Welcome to Crown TV. Immerse yourself with a captivating audio from our stories. We provide an alternative way to read books in audio. We upload many audiobooks as possible, from bestsellers to timeless classic. Subscribe and stay tuned for new upload.
Episode 6, The Competition of Gifts. Ghost Rider. So what if I argue with you? You idiot. You think you're awesome just because you paid $50? If you want to take me on, you better think about whether you've got enough money to keep up with me. Ghost Rider has sent a money gun. 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 Ghost Rider gave away 5 more consecutive swipes, equaling $300 total. Minnie was shocked. She couldn't believe what she was seeing on the screen. She held her hands in front of her chest and smiled broadly. Ghost Rider, you've given me so much. I'm so happy. Minnie blew kisses toward the camera. Who are you? Are you one of my classmates? Minnie asked, blinking. Ben was angry. He cursed. Is this guy so great just because he's got money? I'll show him. Minnie, put me through to the manager. Okay, no problem. Minnie quickly nodded and pressed her phone a few times. The manager appeared on the screen. Ben, you loser. The manager, currently Ghost Rider, said, How dare you have a go at me? I'll give you something to shout about. A few seconds later, a system notification appeared on the screen. Flying fish has been banned by the manager for 1 day. Damn, I'm not allowed to say anything. Ben jabbed furiously at his phone, but he couldn't send the message. Ghost Rider continued on the public chat. Ben, you loser. Send another message if you can. Why don't you post it instead, haha? Thank you, Ghost Rider, for giving me so many gifts. Now here's a special dance just for Ghost Rider. Minnie said, then stood up and started dancing. The message board went crazy with messages. Silver Fox. I was wondering whose account this was. It turned out to be Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider is awesome. Blue Knight. Ghost Rider is an amazing fighter, and he's the richest person in our class. Fat Cat. Ghost Rider, where are you now? Ghost Rider replied, I'm currently drinking with a few of my mates at the Splendid Tower. I plan to go to the Crystal Hotel tonight. I'm not telling you guys what I'm going to do. Haha. The banter continued. Of course, Ghost Rider is awesome. Another person came on to flatter Ghost Rider. That idiot Ben, Ghost Rider posted. He dares to challenge me over $1? He looks so scruffy. He makes me want to puke. This guy's asking for a beating, Ben thought to himself. He was so angry that his nostrils flared. He didn't care about embarrassing himself in front of others, but then he remembered that this was Minnie's live streaming blog. His friend Carl couldn't take the bickering any longer and sent a message. Muddy Duck. Ghost Rider, we're all classmates. Think about what you're saying. Hey, here's another idiot, Ghost Rider soon replied. These guys definitely can't be Carl or Alex. Only these 2 poor guys who'd be good friends with Ben. Ghost Rider was enjoying the banter. You 2 are poor, even poorer than Ben. If you have the guts to compete with me for a present, I'll let you 3 fight it out together. My backhand will feel like a hammer blow. Ghost Rider has sent a money gun. 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 Ghost Rider sent out 5 more gifts. Minnie spoke. Thank you, Ghost Rider. Thank you so much. No one has ever given me so many gifts. Ghost Rider, you're awesome. When you go back to school, I'll treat you to some ice cream. She held her hands in front of her chest and thanked everyone with a sweet smile. Little Tim. Awesome, Ghost Rider. Whirlwind. Wow, I've never seen anyone as generous as Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider, when are you coming back? I'll take you out. Fearsome Tiger. Has anyone noticed that Ghost Rider's profile picture is so handsome? Who can compete with him? The other students began flattering him and sucking up to him. Ghost Rider posted again. Did you see how poor Alex and Carl are? That's not what people want. Even you two are fighting with me. Haha, you overestimate yourselves. After the last post was sent out, Carl's account was also banned. Damn! Carl slammed his palm on the computer table angrily. Carl, it's okay, right? Don't take that idiot's words seriously. Ben comforted Carl. After all, Carl had stuck up for him. Minnie, I have so many rich relatives. I'll watch your live streaming vlog in the future and get them all to buy you presents. Ghost Rider had become active again. I hope you keep an eye on Ben and the others. When you've got a lot of fans online, we can blacklist their accounts. You don't want those poor guys in your live broadcast. They're embarrassing. At that moment, there was a system prompt from the live stream channel. Esteemed admirer has sent a superclass warship. Minnie was still absorbed in the joy of receiving another gift. Other people who were watching the live stream noticed at first. Little Tim. Blimey, someone is sending a warship. Innocent Amy. An invisible millionaire. Are they in our class? Who can it be? Not handsome and not rich. There's a gift, a space-time warship. It is so easy to get gifts through a live stream. I want to start a live stream too. The dancer. Minnie, this is your boyfriend, right? You found a rich guy? Minnie suddenly noticed it. She was shocked at first and covered her mouth with her hands, unable to believe that someone was giving her a warship. She leaned close to the screen to check and was so excited that she didn't know what to say. Damn, who the hell is this? A warship is worth $100. Is it someone from our class? Asked Ben, staring at the screen with a confused expression. Not from our class. Apart from Ghost Rider, everyone in our class is from a normal family. Who could have enough money to give so much away? Carl stared at his phone. He was puzzled. Heh, gifting a warship is awesome, right? Who wouldn't want to give you that? Wait, I'll send you one too. In terms of money, I have never been inferior to anyone. Ghost Rider's message board was full of praise for him. But now it suddenly changed. It was a little hard to accept. Just as the message from Ghost Rider appeared on the public screen, a system notification popped up. Esteemed admirer has sent a superclass warship. 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 Damn it. When the fifth warship was announced, Ben's mouth hung open. The messages on the message board were appearing at 3 times the normal speed. The hero worship and flattery had increased several times over. Minnie was so shocked that she couldn't believe it. She held up her hands, unable to understand why her supporters would give her so many gifts. 11 space warships. That was equivalent to $1,100. Thank you. I'm so excited. I can't believe it. Esteemed admirer, whatever you want to say, I'll listen. Minnie's eyes were wide open as she looked at the camera. Let me be the only manager, esteemed admirer typed. All right, I'll set it up for you right now. Minnie agreed straight away. He had given her gifts worth over $1,000. Such a rich person's request must be fulfilled. Esteemed admirer, I've set it up now. You're the only manager. Minnie smiled sweetly at the camera. System tip. Every day the host gets to choose the manager. Esteemed admirer has been set up as a manager by the host. After half a minute, 2 system notifications appeared on the screen. Flying fish has been allowed by the manager. Ghost Rider has been banned by the manager for 1 day. I can speak again. This manager is loyal. I like it. Ben laughed out joyfully. Ben made a statement on the live streaming channel. Ghost Rider, come out and face me. Carl was still angry and said, $1,000 is still a small amount to you, right? Come out and let everyone see. Esteemed admirer, thank you so much. I want to invite you to Preston University. I'll take you on a tour of the campus, then we'll get something to eat. Minnie blinked her large eyes. Her beauty was captivating. No need, it's just a small amount of money, the esteemed admirer typed. Then, after a moment's thought, he continued to share from the heart. I just want to tell people that if you are rich, you shouldn't look down on others. We are all born people, so we should respect each other and not bully the poor. Episode 7, Rose's Predicament. Ben and Carl were impressed. Well said, they cheered simultaneously. On the live channel, there was also a wave of admiration. Little Tim, this is what a rich person should be like. Harry's cat, that's great. One look and you can tell he has something to say. Silver Moon, I like it. You're much stronger than those rich, arrogant guys. What's happening now? Ghost Rider had become silent by this point. The system message popped up in the message bar. Ghost Rider has left. The Ghost Rider had slipped away, and the audience was laughing. On the live stream, another girl could be seen walking over to Minnie and placing her hands on her shoulders. Someone asked, Minnie, who else is with you in your studio? The girl had long hair, a pointed chin, and very light makeup. She was very pretty. She looked very relaxed on the live stream. As she looked at the camera, the audience watching the live stream vlog felt their hearts tremble. Minnie introduced her. Guys, this is my roommate Kathy. She's so beautiful. If you keep watching my show, I'll give you her social media handle. Minnie held Kathy's hand and spoke sweetly to the screen. Kathy had just been watching Minnie's live streaming blog. When she'd seen that her friend had been given 11 warships in just a few seconds, she became excited. 11 warships were worth $1,000. Of course, she also wanted to find a rich man. If this admirer was a friend of Minnie, Kathy wanted to get to know him. Minnie, you haven't answered me yet. Who is this man? Kathy asked her friend as she pulled over a chair and sat in front of the camera, openly looking at the screen, wanting the rich man who was watching the live streaming blog to have a good look at her. I don't know. I think it's Brad Summers who came to watch my live streaming blog today. Minnie shook her head and looked at the camera. Brad, are you still there? Yes, I'm here, came the reply. Kathy was overjoyed. She was extremely excited and did everything she could to attract him. Brad, you were so cool just now. You gave Minnie 11 warships without a second thought, she said. You're so cool. I'm preparing to do my live stream. Will you watch it? When Ben saw Alex lying on the bed holding his phone, he was sure that he was watching Minnie's live streaming vlog. He tried to help him. Alex, stop watching that. You know Kathy always gets excited when she sees a rich man. She's so shameless. Alex ignored him and continued to look at his phone. Kathy, Minnie called out to Kathy grumpily, why didn't you tell me that you're preparing to start a live stream? Even if you do you think you'll be able to steal Brad away from me? Kathy ignored Minnie's words and said shamelessly to the camera, Brad, I'm still single, and I haven't been able to find a suitable boyfriend. For some reason, I feel like I like you, and I feel a connection. I'd like us to get to know each other. Kathy's coy expression as she spoke was touching. Brad asked, Are you still single? Kathy was slightly taken aback. She was so beautiful that she could understand that it was hard to believe that she was single. However, she had to give the right impression to help secure a rich husband, so she insisted that she was. She also knew that men were particularly attracted to women who had not yet had a partner. Yeah, and I haven't even had a boyfriend yet, Kathy said coyly. Kathy, didn't you just break up with Alex? Aren't you dating Billy now? Millie asked Kathy, live on the show. Minnie was used to Kathy's manipulative character. Normally it didn't bother her, but this man had given her a gift worth $1,000. She wasn't about to lose him to Kathy. Ah, Kathy had not expected Minnie to expose her. She looked embarrassed and smiled apologetically. Billy and I we're just good friends. As for Alex, I felt sorry for him because he's poor, and I helped him study. As for me and him being in a relationship, that was all a rumor spread by our classmates. Kathy had managed to invent an excuse to prove her innocence to the possible suitor. Brad, if you want to get to know Kathy, add me. Halfway through Minnie's words, the system prompted, This viewer has already left the live broadcast room. Minnie and Kathy were disappointed. Alex turned off his phone and lay in the bed. He stared at the wall but wasn't looking at it. He was thinking about Kathy's scene just now. I was with Kathy for a year, and yet she likened our relationship to helping a poor classmate. Her words are like a sword piercing my heart. Alex smiled bitterly to himself. Kathy liked money. How would she feel if she knew how rich I was? The next morning, Alex and his dorm mates returned to their dorm after class. They just finished eating their takeout and were preparing to relax for a while when Joe walked in. He looked depressed as he entered the room and said, Something's happened. What's happened? What's our sports department done this time? Ben asked as he sipped water from his glass. Something's happened to Rose. Joe sat down and looked at the other three. He was worried. What's going on? Alex knew from Joe's face that it was something bad. You know Rose slapped a guy when she left yesterday? Do you know who that man was? Joe answered his question. It was Lucille Brennan, the deputy manager of the Heavenly Lion Group. Holy shit, the Heavenly Lion Group, Ben exclaimed. He was shocked. He stood up and said loudly, The Heavenly Lion Group ranks in the top 10 in New York City, right? There were Heavenly Lion retail offices on the streets that belonged to them, and this was only one of the businesses that belonged to their group. Rose is done at this time. Why did she hit him? She's definitely in trouble now. Alex glanced at Ben, who was still talking nonstop. Then Alex looked at Joe and asked, Doesn't Rose also come from a powerful family? Isn't there anything they can do? Alex knew that Rose's family were rich enough to open an account at the Metro Skybank, so they must be powerful. Rose's family owns a company called Shenglong Cargo Company, but it doesn't compare to the Heavenly Lion Corporation, Joe said with a frown. Susan told me that Rose's company had bad news today. Rose's dad is really worried about several partnerships that are threatening to cancel. Joe crossed his arms. The Heavenly Lion Group must have done this. I've seen information about them on the internet. The boss of the group, Donald Brennan, is Lucille's father, and he's bad news. He's very ruthless in his business dealings. Carl looked at Ben, then looked at Alex. His face was grave. Just then, Joe's phone rang. It was his girlfriend, Susan. Joe answered the phone nervously. All right, I'll go right now. Okay, that's it. Bye then. Joe hung up the phone. Rose got a call from her dad. He's told her she has to fix it. He said the only way to resolve it is for her to spend one night with Lucille. Otherwise, Donald is going to ruin their family. Yesterday, I caught that lowlife Lucille looking weirdly at Rose. I think it'll kill her to spend a night with him. Damn it, this father and son are bloody shameless, Ben cursed angrily. Joe and the others also understood what it would mean for Rose to have to spend a night with Lucille Brennan. Don't say any more. Let's go to Susan's dorm now and help Rose come up with some ideas. Joe stood up quickly. All four hurried outside and locked the door behind them. After checking with the dorm front desk worker, Joe led Alex and the others quickly to the third floor and pushed open the door of the dorm room that Rose shared with her friends. Although Rose and the others dressed well, the dorm room was run down. The blankets covering Susan's bed appeared to be of good quality, but the other three beds looked very disheveled. Susan, Stacy, and Betty sat beside Rose looking anxious. Rose sobbed and hugged her legs as she sat on the bed. How is she? Joe asked Susan as he entered the room. Susan stood up and dragged Joe and the others to the door. She turned around and looked at Rose with concern, then lowered her eyes and whispered to them. Rose's dad knows that she's the one that caused this trouble, and he shouted at her over the phone. She's been crying for almost 3 hours now, and her dad told her that if she can't sort things out, she'll have to spend the night with Lucille Brennan. Damn, what kind of father is he? Ben couldn't help but feel disgusted. I guess he's in a tight spot, Susan responded. After all, 7 or 8 of his business partners are threatening to cancel their contracts. Anyone who hasn't threatened yet still might. Her dad called me in secret and asked me to take care of Rose. He's looking for ways to resolve this situation. With that, Susan urged Joe and the others to Rose's side. Rose, don't cry. If Donald's family goes too far, we'll call the police to arrest them. Joe frowned as he tried to comfort her. Ben took out his phone and said forcefully, Let's call the police now. I'll call 911. Don't, Rose cried. Only then did she look up. Her face had been buried in her knees. Her watery eyes were red from crying, and she'd lost all traces of the arrogance that had been so evident the previous day. After all, Ben and the others were trying to help her. She wiped her nose with the tissue that Cindy handed to her. With tears in her eyes, she said, It's useless to call the police. It'll only make things worse. Rose was, after all, the child of a rich family. She had seen and heard some of the methods her father and the other bosses used to deal with such matters. The police might anger Donald Brennan. If he was completely enraged, with his strength and power, the situation could get 100 times worse than it was now. We need to find someone else to help, Ben said. If we can find someone even more powerful, they might be able to sort it out. I'll call my dad and ask him. He stood up, took out his phone, and went to one side to make a call. I'll ask too. Susan, Stacy, and Betty all answered. However, they all knew in their hearts that with their family's connections, there was no way they could stop Donald, the boss of the Heavenly Lion Group. Alex spoke for the first time. Don't worry, it'll all be sorted out soon. Episode 8, The Power of Family Connections. Hearing Alex's voice, Rose was slightly stunned. She stopped wiping her nose and raised her head. She shot a cold gaze toward Alex. You came too, she said. Alex nodded slightly, but didn't say anything. Judging by Rose's expression, she didn't seem to want him there. Susan quickly spoke up for Alex. Rose, Alex came to help you think of a way out of this. He's worried about you. Worried, Rose sneered. If it wasn't for you yesterday, we wouldn't have bumped into Lucille. And if we hadn't bumped into Lucille, the incident would have never happened, she exclaimed. Then she pointed at the door and shouted, Scram! Get out of my room right now! Rose, listen to yourself, Susan said. She felt that Rose was being unfair. After all, Alex came to help you. You speak to him like that? Alex didn't say anything. He slowly turned around and walked toward the door. Joe hung up the phone and followed to comfort his friend. Alex, are you all right? He asked. Rose was out of order just now, but remember how stressed she is today. Don't lower yourself to her level. Forgive her. I know, it's fine. Alex smiled faintly. All right, go quickly and persuade her. Tell her not to worry. It'll be fine. Alex walked out as if nothing had happened. Joe watched Alex go and shook his head before returning quickly to the dorm. I don't ever want to see that lowlife again. Rose was still cursing Alex. When she saw Joe come in, she stopped and took out her cell phone. I just had an idea. I'm going to call my old school friend to see if he can help. Hello, Zane, it's Rose. Rose began to tell Zane about her situation. The others in the dorm also contacted anyone they could think of who might be able to help them. Hey, Uncle Chuck, it's me, Stacy. Can you do me a favor? My dormmate and Donald Brennan from the Heavenly Lion Group. What, you can't afford to offend him? No, you should at least try to talk to him. Oh, okay, I'll look for someone else. Goodbye, Uncle Chuck. Hey, Aunt Ruth, can you help me with something? Alex walked out of the girls' dormitory, took a breath of fresh air, and took out his phone. From memory, he pressed a number and put the phone to his ear. He heard the phone ring 3 times before an elderly voice answered. "Alex, you finally called. You've been suffering and away from home for so many years, and I've been feeling guilty and powerless to help." "Mark, you're being too hard on yourself," Alex replied. After 7 years, Alex's heart swelled with emotion to hear the voice of his family's butler. "My poverty training is over. I can use the family's influence now, right?" "Of course. Starting from the day before yesterday, the family's already lifted all restrictions on you," Mark replied happily. "Yes, I want to confront Donald Brennan of the Heavenly Lion Group." Alex got straight to the point. "Heavenly Lion Group. Heavenly Lion Group." Mark mumbled to himself twice. "Forgive this old servant for being slow-witted, but where does this group of Heavenly Lions come from?" "It's one of New York's local businesses," Alex explained. "Alex's family influences the world. Heavenly Lion Group was one of the top 10 enterprises in New York, but it wasn't that grand from a global perspective." "Heavenly Lion," Mark exclaimed. "Of course, it falls under our family's East Coast Division of Management. I'll inform Ken, manager of the East Coast Division. Sir, what are you going to confront Donald about?" "Tell him to stop all actions against the East-West Cargo Company," Alex said lightly. "Okay, don't worry, sir. Within half an hour, no matter what dealings Donald has with the East-West Cargo Company, he'll stop," Mark said with a faint smile. Good. Alex then hung up. After receiving Alex's order, Mark immediately made sure that the message got to Ken, manager of the East Coast Division. By this time, the father of Zane, the high school classmate that Rose had called, had agreed to his son's request and rushed over to the New York City Merchant Union. He was a junior high school classmate of the union's president, William Chase. If William agreed to help, he could resolve this matter. At this time, William was in the union building, negotiating with an investment company. Both sides had 10 members, and the deal involved a total amount of $125 million. The negotiation had reached its most critical moment. They all felt that they could reach an agreement within 10 minutes, which would result in William's company receiving an investment of $125 million. At this critical moment, the door of the meeting room was pushed open, and William's secretary walked in. William frowned. The others also looked annoyed. It was considered very rude for the secretary to interrupt negotiations. However, the secretary approached William and whispered a few words into his ear. William's expression changed noticeably, and he stood up, clearly deep in thought. He said to the others, "Everyone, I'm sorry, but I have some urgent matters to take care of right now. We'll talk about this meeting later today. Please forgive me." Then he nodded his head, turned around, and walked toward the door. "Mr. Chase, if you leave now, I don't think we'll need to continue our discussion because I will lose all faith in you," the most important representative of the investment company said to William. He was livid. "If that's the case, I'm sorry." William turned around, said something to his secretary, and quickly walked out. His secretary had just informed him that Ken Stokes was about to call him to solve the problem of the Heavenly Lion Group and the East-West Cargo Company. To him, Ken's words were much more important than $125 million. The business talks have collapsed, he thought, but we can discuss business another time. However, if I've upset Ken, it won't just be a simple matter of losing some money. I could lose my position as the president of the union. Ken Stokes was a member of the union, or in its chain, but in the upper echelons of New York society, he was extremely prestigious. William and his secretary rushed out of the building at the same moment that Finn Harrison arrived. "Mr. Chase." Finn walked toward William with a smile. He thought that having been friends since school, William Chase would help him out this time. However, William only glanced at him, then ignored him. He climbed into the car and drove away. Meanwhile, Alex had walked to the side of the campus's Ramsey Lake and sat down on a large rock deep in thought. On the riverbank, he saw a couple snuggling together, and his mind was flooded with happy memories. He thought about a time when he and Kathy had been so happy. He remembered helping her cook and riding together to take their exams. He used the money he had saved to buy cosmetics for Kathy. Alex's train of thought was broken by his phone ringing. He brought his mind back to the present as the name Zara Fitzgerald appeared on the screen. Zara was the captain of the school's cheerleading squad, and Alex was also a member of the squad. The rest of the squad were girls, so they needed someone to move the props around, to lift the stereo, and to go buy the ice cream. They also needed someone to fan them when they were hot. Of course, a boy was needed. Because of this, Alex became the cheerleading team's service assistant. In other words, it was free hard labor. "Hello, Alex. You must come to the West Sports Field right now." "What is it?" "If I tell you to do something, just do it. Cut the crap or you're dead." Zara hung up the phone. Alex put his phone in his pocket, stood up, and quickly headed toward the West Sports Field. Episode 9. Who Will Win the Girl? Walking toward the West Sports Field, Alex saw 5 or 6 pretty girls heading his way. The tallest girl addressed him. "Alex, you finally came. Why did you take so long?" It was Zara Fitzgerald who had just called him. Zara took out $10 and gave it to Alex. "Buy 6 bottles of water for the squad." "Captain, why didn't you ask on the phone? I would have bought it on my way over," Alex asked while holding the $10 in his hand. "Why are you in such a bad mood today? It's not fair. What's wrong? Can't you take it anymore?" Zara's eyes opened wide as she opened and closed her mouth. Her words shot toward Alex like a cannonball. "No, all right, I'll go buy it now," Alex said, choosing to go and buy the water rather than argue with Zara Fitzgerald. When Alex returned with the water, he gave the $4 change to Zara. The girls from the cheerleading team each took a bottle and drank the water from it. "Alex, fan me," Zara Fitzgerald ordered Alex. Alex had nothing else to do, so he started to fan Zara. They were sitting on a nearby basketball court, watching the school basketball team practicing for a match. After resting for half an hour, Zara clapped her hands and called the cheerleaders to continue practicing. Alex sat alone in the grandstand and watched Zara and the rest of the squad practice. The seats around him were all filled with the girls' bags and training equipment. Alex heard someone say, "Hello, why aren't you playing with them?" A girl walked over from his side, smiled at Alex, and sat down beside him. Alex was stunned for a moment. This girl had long hair, an oval face, snow-white skin, clear black and white eyes, and a friendly expression. "Hello," Alex replied. Just as Alex was about to say something else, a tall boy wearing a Lakers jersey walked over and said, "Hi, beautiful. Why are you bothering with him? He's just the babysitter of the cheerleading squad. He's the one who does all the dirty work. I have no idea why Zara Fitzgerald let him join the squad when he's so poor." "Oh," the girl looked at Alex kindly. "Before you came, this loser was fanning the girls in the cheering squad. That's all he's good for." The male fanned himself and gave the girl a teasing smile. Then the tall guy reached out his hand to the girl. "Hello, my name is Dean Marshall. I'm the star player in the school basketball team, and I've started my own business. It's doing pretty well. My annual income should only be around $2 million. What do you think of that?" The more he looked at her, the more he liked her. With his good looks and other attributes, he knew that he could win any girl he wanted. The girl glanced at Dean's outstretched hand in hesitation, but took it. She just looked at him and smiled. "Hello, I'm Rachel O'Connor, a friend of Zara." Dean took his hand back a little embarrassed and said, "Rachel O'Connor. That's a nice name. Zara and the squad are training, and it's difficult to talk here. Let's go and walk around the field together, and we can have a chat." "Thank you, but there's no need." Rachel smiled faintly. Dean was furious, but he was unwilling to give up on such a beautiful girl. He wanted to stay and fight for her, but just then, someone on the basketball court called out to him, and he had to run back to the court. "What's your name?" Rachel turned her head and looked at Alex with a gentle smile. "Alex," he replied automatically. His attention was entirely focused on Rachel's demeanor. He could detect neither contempt nor pity in her beautiful eyes as she looked at him. Alex felt very comfortable with her. As he looked into Rachel's eyes, he started to smile. Zara Fitzgerald and the cheerleading team completed 2 more jumps. Then Zara walked over to Alex and Rachel and said, "Rachel, why are you talking to him?" Zara looked at Rachel with a little surprise. She pinched Alex's shoulders and then shoved him out of the way so she could sit beside her friend. In a serious voice, she said, "I only hired him because I wanted someone to help me carry the stereo and move the outfits. You can tell from his clothes that he's just a poor slob." "I don't care about that. I think he seems quite nice," Rachel said with a smile. "Quite nice." Zara completely disagreed with her friend. She gave Alex a stern look and said, "I knew it. You only came over to talk to Rachel because you think she's beautiful. Don't you know your place? I'm warning you, don't even think about Rachel." Alex wanted to explain, but he didn't know what to say. "What about me? Seriously," Alex began, but as Zara's gaze became sharper, he stopped mid-sentence. Seeing that Alex had stopped talking, Rachel looked at him helplessly. They were interrupted by Zara's cell phone ringing. She took out a phone on a pink cover and looked at the number, frowning slightly. She stood up and walked away slightly to answer the call. "Hey, Cindy, don't be too stressed. Your family's just worried because you're not married yet." Okay. If you're free, why don't you come to the amusement park? Come and walk around the park. Try to stop worrying. Call me if you need anything." Then Zara hung up the phone and sat down beside Rachel with a grim expression. "What's wrong?" Rachel asked as she placed her hand on her friend's knee. "It's my cousin Cindy. She's getting older, and her family's urging her to hurry up and get married." Zara glanced at Rachel with downcast eyes. She said, "Your cousin is very beautiful. She doesn't have to worry about getting married." Rachel smiled. Zara glanced at Rachel and tuttered, Rachel, you don't understand. Of course my cousin is worried about getting married. The problem is who will marry her. You've seen her photo." As she spoke, Zara glanced at Alex with a look of disdain and said, "We can't marry poor losers like him, right?" Episode 10. Who Helped Rose? After the training session, Zara and the other girls from the cheerleading squad left with the basketball team. The task of cleaning up the equipment naturally fell to Alex, the service assistant. Rachel looked at Alex with pity. She wanted to stay and help him organize the equipment, but Zara pulled her away, saying, "Alex's only value to the cheerleading squad is helping us pack up. Otherwise we would have kicked him out already." As Alex was packing up the equipment for the cheerleading squad and putting it in the storeroom, his phone rang. It was Mark. "Sir, Ken said that the matter has been settled." "Okay, that's great," Alex said and hung up the phone. Alex couldn't believe how quickly his family had sorted it out. It had only been an hour since Alex called them. He guessed that Rose would soon hear the news. Later, at around 5 that afternoon, Alex was jogging when he received a call from Joe. Joe seemed very happy. "Alex, where are you?" "At the sports field. Why do you sound so happy? Is everything all right now with Rose?" Alex thought that the news must have reached her by now. "Wow, how did you know? Her dad only called 20 minutes ago and you already knew?" Joe asked in surprise. "You sound so happy that I knew the problem must be sorted." Alex smiled faintly. "That's true." Joe raised his voice again and said, "Now that you're back in her good books, Rose said she wants to treat you to dinner. We're already on our way there." "You guys go ahead. I don't want to go." Rose hated him so much. He knew that if he went, he'd just be miserable. Come on, all your friends are here. Are you too scared to come?" "I don't want to go. You guys have fun." "Hey, you loser. If you don't come, you're not our friend anymore. You decide what you want to do." Joe shouted and hung up. Alex smiled wryly as he heard the call end. He walked slowly out of the school gate and went to the restaurant. As soon as he entered, he could hear his friends, and he followed the noise to find their table. More than 10 people were sitting around a table. In addition to Rose's doormates and his doormates, there were also a few unfamiliar faces. They must be Rose's friends, he thought. Alex walked slowly toward the table, and everyone turned and looked at him. Rose, who was chatting with her friends, turned around and saw that Alex had arrived. A look of hatred flashed across her eyes as she said, "Did I tell you to come?" "Fine, I'm in a good mood, so I guess you can take advantage of that and stay." Then she resumed her conversation and didn't give Alex another look. As Alex stopped walking and looked at Rose's back, he felt his heart flutter. "Forget that I helped her this time. I won't have anything to do with her from now on." Joe quickly walked over to Alex and whispered to him, "Leave her alone. Your friends are happy you came. Come and sit with me." As he spoke, Joe pulled Alex over and sat down beside him. As Alex sat down, Rose glanced at him in disgust. Alex didn't even look at her, deciding to save himself from the embarrassment. "Rose, what happened? Why do you hate him?" An unfamiliar girl glanced at Alex and whispered to Rose. The others who didn't know anything about the situation also looked at Rose, waiting for her explanation. Rose's gaze swept across Alex, and then she looked at the others. She sneered arrogantly and said, "This guy's unbelievable. We went to the Metro Sky Bank to withdraw money yesterday morning, but he doesn't even have a card for that bank." Those who didn't know what had happened all covered their mouths and smiled when they heard Rose's words. They couldn't help but look at Alex. Only Susan, Joe, and the others who were familiar with the situation looked extremely embarrassed. They were all thinking, "We're all eating here together. Even if you don't like Alex, do you have to expose his weakness in front of others?" One by one, the waiter brought the plates of food to the table. The 10 of them gathered together, chatting and laughing while Alex only chatted with Joe and Ben beside him, not with Rose and the others. Rose was saying, "Guess what? In the end, the chairman of the Heavenly Lion Group, Donald Brennan, personally came to my dad's office to apologize to him. That's what you call humility." She recounted the news she had heard from her father. Her friends replied, "Awesome, Rose. To be honest, I didn't expect that your family could solve this problem so easily. After all, this is the Heavenly Lion Group, one of the top 10 enterprises in New York City. Yeah, Donald has awesome power. It's even on the internet. He once made a company disappear, but your family problem was solved in less than a day," another guy said as he gave a thumbs up. "Tell us who exactly helped your family so we can tell everyone," another boy said to Rose as he smiled. "Of course, I must also wonder who helped my dad. Donald Brennan might be a tough nut to crack for others, but it seems that he's no match for my dad," Rose said. "Wait a minute. I'll call my dad and ask him." She took out her cell phone, dialed her father's number, and turned on the speaker. "Dad, which uncle did you ask for help this time?" Rose suddenly felt that something wasn't right. "When Dad called me this morning to have a go at me, he said all kinds of mean things," she thought. "He said that he couldn't do anything to make Donald give in after the disaster I've caused. Could it be that later on, in a flash of inspiration, he's remembered someone powerful that he didn't think about before?" An idea flashed through Rose's mind.
Thank you for listening to Crown TV. Please don't forget to subscribe, share and turn on the notification button.